Hello everyone, back to today's second video. Going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days. For today's second video, day 10 will take us to around the 2nd of November, and we'll be able to extend out beyond that. We extended GFS and ECM ensembles very much around a couple of weeks, and we'll have a look at the CFSV2 for November at the end of the video. GMA Friday has been released. That's month ahead look ahead with Japanese and CFSV2 models. So check out GWV Friday and see what those two models are forecasting for November. And we're going to have our 6 weekly look ahead coming up for you around 5-6 o'clock this evening with the ECMWF. So that's going to be a very interesting watch. It's going to take us into the beginning of December with the ECMWF extended range model. So that's going to be very interesting watch. After 10 o'clock, we're going to be live streaming. We'll have a Friday night live stream and have a bit of a laugh and see how we're all doing on this Friday evening. That'll be after 10 o'clock this evening. So busy old day at GavsWeatherVids today. We better crack on. So this is how things are currently looking in terms of the tropical Atlantic. 2 areas of interest. We have got a yellow X down here in the Caribbean. Excuse me. So that is disturbance 1 with a 30% chance of cyclone formation in the next 48 hours and a 40% chance in the next 5 days. They're saying with this on a broad trough of low pressure located over the western Caribbean Sea is producing a large area of showers and thunderstorms, mainly east of the trough. Surface observations, satellite-derived surface wind data, and radar data indicate that a low pressure system has developed along the trough axis just south of the Grand Cayman Islands. Some gradual development of the low is possible during the next few days while it moves northwestwards to northwards across western or central Cuba on Saturday, then turning northward to northeastward across the southeastern Gulf of Mexico, Straits of Florida, and the central Bahamas on Sunday. Regardless of development, locally heavy rainfall will be possible over portions of the Cayman Islands, Cuba, South Florida, and the Bahamas through to early next week. So it looks like this is going to go in that sort of direction to me. And so we shall see. We shall see if anything pops up from that one. And then, of course, we've also got Epsilon just here. Hurricane Epsilon was a major hurricane, like 36 hours ago. It's now down to Category 1, giving maximum sustained winds of 85 miles per hour, with a minimum set pressure of 968 millibars, and it's moving northwards at 7 miles per hour. Clicking on Epsilon and going to wind cone static images, we see that this is going to retain hurricane status by the look of it right way through to Sunday. So it's a Category 1 hurricane at the moment. It's still going to be a Category 1 hurricane on Sunday, just there. And then through Sunday into the open part of next week, it picks up speed, goes post-tropical, and is in the middle of the North Atlantic by the time we get through to Monday. We could well see the remains of Epsilon as an area of low pressure affecting our weather through the middle part of next week, perhaps bringing some wet and windy conditions. We shall wait and see about that. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of days. So looking at Derby today, the red line is 30 upper air temperature average for Derby. We're starting off pretty close to or slightly under average at the moment. A bit of a cool down coming up for tomorrow as well. Better tick up in the temperature though as we go further into the weekend, followed by another cool down early next week, another tick up, and another cool down, another tick up. So we're very much in a zonal flow, as I've been explaining in videos throughout the week. We've got these cooler, no, that's wrong. We have got these, let's get rid of that, we can. We've got these cooler down here and warmer sectors alternating with one another. So indicative of a zonal flow. That continues then. So for precipitation, going to be reasonably dry in Derby for the next, for the next day or so, and then we go through into the weekend, into next week, just getting more and more unsettled. So plenty of precipitation spikes coming through there, plenty of rainfall coming through. Going to be wet and windy tomorrow, later tomorrow, and into the early hours of Sunday. Then get a bit of a break, and then like Tuesday, Wednesday next week, more rain. There's just plenty of rain to come with low pressure continuously moving in from off the Atlantic. Temperature anomalies from the 23rd to the 31st of October going to be close to or a little bit above average for England and Wales, and near normal for Scotland and Northern Ireland. Precipitation anomalies from the 23rd to 31st of October, bit wetter than average, average to wetter than average overall. It's an unsettled spell that we're in at the moment. So this is latest wind flow map from earthnorthschool.net. Got lots of low pressure on the scene and out in the Atlantic. So there's low pressure up here. There's quite a deep area of low pressure here. That's going to give us a proper spell of wet and windy weather tomorrow in the north and the west, and then later on tomorrow and into Saturday evening further southwards and eastwards. So yeah, that's like tomorrow and into Sunday's area of low pressure just there. And of course we've got Epsilon just here. That's Hurricane Epsilon, category 1 hurricane at the moment. Let's pull this around so we can have a good look at Epsilon. So here it is then. We've got the remains of category, or we have got category 1 hurricane Epsilon just here. That's going to go in that sort of direction, and will become post-tropical early next week, and but still it's a vigorous area of low pressure. We may well get some wet and windy weather from Epsilon through the early part of next week, and just make out that little disturbance area around here, I think, but might develop into something later on into the weekend, so we should keep a close eye on that. Right, so this is how the UK Met is looking for midnight on Monday. So there's Epsilon there, gone post-tropical by then, but there's a vigorous area of low pressure midnight on Monday. And then the remains of Epsilon developing into quite a significant area of low pressure out in the Atlantic through Tuesday to Wednesday. That's going to bring wet and windy weather in from off the Atlantic. Plenty of rain to come for the middle part of next week. And we keep low pressure up to 144 hours, as far out as we can go, with UK Met to Thursday, 29th of October. And there's another little secondary area of low pressure starting to head our way at that point, with the main low sitting just to the south of Greenland. The GFS, let's go backwards on this. So the GFS is looking like that at 72 hours. So again, we've got low pressure north of Scotland, so that's going to be bringing showery conditions through the second half of the weekend. The remains of Epsilon post tropical storm Epsilon, post hurricane Epsilon, just there. Moving through week, well, that really does whip itself up by Tuesday as a very, very vigorous area of low pressure. It spreads wet and windy weather in across the country Tuesday through to Wednesday, so you'll get a blow from that. In the second half of next week, again, further areas of low pressure dominate weather, bringing more wet weather. There's a bit of a long fetch southwesterly here on the 30th of October. That's a week today. So long fetch southwesterly dragging up very mild air from the Azores, but also probably bringing quite a lot of rain with it. And then into the end of October, start of November, again just remains itself. Various areas of low pressure coming in from off the Atlantic. Another one there for day 10, Monday the 2nd of November, looking properly wet and windy at that point. This is how the GFS is looking for 300 hours. So this gets us to Wednesday the 4th of November. Again, just looks really wet and windy. A deep area of low pressure just to the southwest of Ireland. That's bringing in gale force winds and outbreaks of heavy rain at that point as well. Moving into more extended range, a little bit of a change then takes place with this GFS one. It's a very long way out, 348 hours away. Start to get some higher pressure building towards Iceland, and we pull the wind into the northeast. So it starts to turn drier, but it also starts to turn colder on this GFS 6Z run. Haven't got a bit of a Scandinavian high getting going there by the 8th of November. Again, just pulling the wind in from the east. Very unsure about that. It's a very, very long way off, up to 300 hours out. It's very unsettled. And then just beyond that, in the closing sort of stages of the of the GFS 6 there, which is like days 13, 14, it begins to turn colder as high pressure builds to the north and turns the wind into the east. I suppose it's in line with what we've seen on and off through this autumn. So it's interesting that the GFS is trying to get us back to colder, drier conditions towards the end of the first week of November. But at the moment, no more than that, and it's just of interest, I think, at this stage. GEM looks like that. Again, wet and windy through the weekend into the early part of next week. Got the remains of Epsilon coming in with this area of low pressure. That's been wet and windy weather across the country as well. Second half of next week, again, looking unsettled. We are putting up very mild air from the southwest, though. So it will be very mild to end next week, particularly down in the south. But always with the risk of some rain, particularly so in northern and western parts of the country. Heading up towards day 10. Again, that's how low pressure continues to head in from off the Atlantic, mild down in the south, more unsettled up in the north, and the driest weather is in the south, of course, with 1,025 millibar area of high pressure across southern England. So it is a bit dry down in the south, but still unsettled up in the north, very mild at day 10. And then the ECM looks like that again, cool and showery, really, as we're ending the weekend. There's the remains of Epsilon just there, that area of low pressure. So we move on into Tuesday and Wednesday. Again, vigorous area of low pressure containing the remains of Epsilon, giving us a spell of windy weather and outbreaks of rain through the middle part of next week as well. And then in the second half of next week, again, up come those long fetch southwesterlies, so it is going to turn very mild later next week. The air is originating somewhere around the Azores, being dragged up into southern parts of the country. Anyway, always a little bit cooler up in the north, because you're on the cool side of the jet stream up there, so very mild conditions. Probably don't get Scotland, but for England and Wales and Ireland, it certainly turns very mild, but there will be outbreaks of rain involved in that, of course. And then we head up in towards day 10, and the high pressure increasingly takes over from the south with the ECM. So we've got this big ridge of high pressure setting up over just to the east of the country. Winds are in from the south. The upper air temperatures are very mild, actually warm. We've got 10 Celsius isotherm there, through the country. The whole country's bathed within 10 Celsius at 850 HPA. So that's really quite warm air for the beginning of November. As it's high pressure dominated, it could be accompanied by a lot of low cloud, might have mist and fog as well, those sort of conditions, which of course, despite the warm temperatures aloft, would limit the temperatures down on the surface. So we'll be interested to see exactly how warm that would get. My guess is probably not as warm as you might envisage from the upper air temperatures. You might get an inversion down on the surface, but it would be interesting to see. Right, this is how the rainfall forecast looks based on that ECM run from Tibetio.com. So we'll rattle through this very quick. Lots of rain coming and going, really wet across many parts of the country tomorrow and into tomorrow night. Then further showers in the northwest into sunny in the early part of next week. In comes the rain associated with the remains of Epsilon as well. That's around the middle of next week, Tuesday through to Wednesday. Back showery conditions with more wet weather, particularly across England and Wales through the second half of next week. Also drawing up those very mild winds from the southwest. Then as a high pressure takes over from the south, it begins to turn drier. So things are turning drier as we move up towards day 10. But also it will be, we are in those warm upper air temperatures. But exactly how warm it will be on the surface would be interesting to see. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10. Gets us to the 2nd of November. We have 18 members of the ECM ensembles, pretty much with high pressure over the country, slightly to our east. Wind is being drawn up from the south, so it is a warm ridge, but because we're under an area of high pressure and it's November, it might not necessarily be overly warm down on the surface. Of course, if fog was to begin to become widespread, it could actually be quite cold on the surface despite the warm temperatures aloft. That does include the control and the operational run. The operational run is the run we've just been looking at. We've got 12 just here with the high pressure centered a little bit further away from us to the east. Low pressure is out to the west. That would again be a drier option. That one could probably be very mild though. That really is pulling in the wind from south to the southwest, and because the high pressure isn't centered over us but centered to our east, got low pressure to our west, and there will be a little bit of wind to stir up the atmosphere, and so I think that could be a very, very mild option. Now we have 11 just here that have the high pressure slightly to our west and northwest, so this is going to be pulling in quite a chilly north to northeasterly wind probably. So that's a different option again. It's all down to a placement of where this ridge of high pressure is sitting. 8 down here with low pressure to the north and high pressure to the south. They're bringing in westerlies, so they're a little bit more unsettled, probably quite mild. And then 2, very minority option, 2 have low pressure pretty much over top of the country. That's just keeping the October deluge going really into the start of November. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got within the ECM ensembles. So we have 11 members of the ECM ensembles then still with high pressure centered over top of the country. That includes the control room. 9 with high pressure to the south and low pressure to the north. This gets to the 7th of November, by the way. I'm not sure I mentioned that. Winds are in from a westerly direction with that one. 8 with high pressure centred over and just to the north of the country. Winds coming in from an easterly direction. That's going to be a drier and colder option, of course, with easterly winds. 8 with high pressure over Scandinavia. A ridge through the country and lower pressure out to the northwest. So winds with that going to be a little bit westerly. Another 8 just here with a mid-Atlantic ridge. So many options. Mid-Atlantic ridge going up towards Greenland. Trough low pressure over Scandinavia. That's trying to get wind into the north, probably. And then 7 with high pressure over and just to the west of the country. And could be pulling in chilly northwesterly winds. Most of those options seem to involve high pressure, but where that high pressure sits really is open to a lot of doubt at the moment. You know, it's all up for grabs, really, in terms of where that high pressure is sitting. So will it be a very mild first week to November, or will it be a colder first week to November? We shall see. Time will tell. Right, this is how the CFS V2 is looking for November, finally. So this is the latest 700 millibar high anomaly for November from a CFS V2 with low pressure to the north, high pressure to the south. The CFS is looking very westerly in November. There is a lot of high pressure away to the east and to the northeast. That's a Siberian high, but it's too far away from us to do anything cold for us, so everything's driving in from the Atlantic to the west of Europe. And so the temperature anomaly, of course, with those westerly winds dominating, is above average. CFS going for a very mild November coming up. And the rainfall anomaly, no particular signal, but in a westerly November you will probably expect quite a unsettled month, particularly in the north where it could be quite wet, whereas I suppose a little bit dry down in the south close to that ridge from the Azores high. But yeah, that is a very, very westerly November being forecast there. Right, so that's it for video number 2 for today. We're on a roll, aren't we? We're going to be back around 5-6-ish with the ECMWF 30-day look ahead. No, it's not a 30-day look ahead, it's a 42-day look ahead. What am I talking about? 30-day look ahead with the ECMs on a Tuesday. Friday is a 42-day look ahead, a 6 weeks look ahead with the ECMWF. And that can take us into the start of December, the start of winter 2020-21. With today's 42-day ECMWF extended range video. So that will be coming up around 5 or 6 o'clock this evening, and then we're going to have a live stream tonight after 10 o'clock. And lots coming up over the weekend as well. So tomorrow we've got weekend forecast, always on a Saturday weekend look at a 10 to 14 day. The update tomorrow. On Sunday, we're going to have the 8th Winter 2020-21 update. We will have a written update for Christmas. We're going to have the ECMWF France, DWD, and JMA seasonal model update as well as a live stream as well. So it's all happening. It's all going on this weekend. But the next video will be the ECMWF 42-day. So I'll see you with that around 6 o'clock, 5-6 o'clock. And then after that, we're going to be live streaming from 10. For this video, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.